Okay, so today we're going to be completing the past Form A on a student and demonstrating the administration of the assessment. First things first is you're going to have a timer beside you, especially when you're starting the assessments for the first time. In order to achieve automaticity, students have to respond to your question within 2 seconds. So you need to make sure that you've got a timer beside you to keep yourself a little honest. Another thing just to note, we're going to be using the routing procedure that's described in Chapter 11 to speed up the administration of the assessment. So as I move through the assessment, what you're going to notice, if the student responds with automaticity, so within 2 seconds, a correct answer for D1, they are going to bypass the other 2 questions, and I'll go straight to D2. And if they get D2, the first question, correct with automaticity, I will move to E2 and then E3 based on those responses. The only time that changes is when you go to level F and level G. The student will have to respond with automaticity for the first 3 questions, and then it's assumed that the other 2 questions are also automatic before you move to level G. Then when I move over to the back, this would usually be on the back of your sheet of paper, level H through level M, you have to complete in entirety. There is no skipping. There's no routing procedure. You've got to move through each of the questions just organically. Okay, so we're going to start the timer, and off we go. Okay, kiddo, are you all set?
Yep.
Perfect. Okay, say bookcase.
Bookcase.
Now say bookcase, but don't say book.
Case.
Good job. So that was an automatic response, so I mark it down with an X. And because it was automatic, we're going on to D2, the very first question. Say silver.
Silver.
Now say silver, but don't say sill.
Ver.
Perfect. So again, another automatic response. So she got 3 out of 3 for the correct and 3 out of 3 for automatic in this stage. We're moving on to E2. Say umbrella.
Umbrella.
Now say umbrella, but don't say
Umbrella.
Perfect. So again, that's an automatic response. The other 2 are assumed. So she'll get 3 and 3. We'll move on to E3. Say alphabet.
Alphabet.
Now say alphabet, but don't say al.
Alphabet.
Perfect. Again, another automatic response. The other 2 are assumed. So 3 and 3. So a grand total, 12 correct, 12 automatic. Okay, so then we're going to move down to the automatic or the onset rhyme levels. So again, in order to use the routing procedure here, the student will have to achieve automaticity in the first 3 responses to assume that the other 2 would also be automatic. Okay, say feet.
Feet.
Now say feet, but don't say
eat.
That's correct. Good job. Another automatic response. Say cough.
Cough.
Now say cough, but don't say k.
Off.
Say tame.
Tame.
Now say tame, but don't say t.
Aim.
Okay, so the first 3 were automatic, so I can assume that the other 2 would also be. So she'll receive a score of 5 and 5 on that. Now we'll move on to G. Say guide.
Guide.
Now say guide, but instead of g, say
Ride.
Perfect. Say more.
More.
Now say more, but instead of say d.
Door.
Say gum.
Gum.
Now say gum, but instead of g, say
thumb.
Perfect. So again, those first 3 responses are automatic. Therefore, the other 2 are implied. So receiving a perfect score, 10 and 10. Now we'll go to the back of the page. Okay, so we're on level H. Again, there's no routing procedure here. So we have to move through all of the questions. Say sleep.
Sleep.
Now say sleep, but don't say
sleep.
Say crane.
Crane.
Now say crane, but don't say k.
Rain.
Say grew.
Grew.
Now say grew, but instead of g, say t.
True.
Say crane.
Crane.
Now say crane, but instead of k, say b.
Brain.
Say flows.
Flows.
Now say flows, but instead of f, say k.
Close.
Good job. Okay. So again, 5 and 5. Now we're moving on to level I. Say went.
Went.
Now say went, but don't say t.
Oh, wait, what?
Again. So now I have to ask the question again. So because I have to ask it a second time and the student has asked me to repeat, she cannot gain an automaticity score on this. She can just gain a correct score if I ask her the question again and I repeat it and she responds correctly. Say went.
Went.
Now say went, but don't say t.
When.
Very good. So she'll receive a 1 because it's a correct score. Say range.
Range.
Now say range, but don't say j.
Rain.
Say wheat.
Wheat.
Now say wheat, but don't say t.
We.
Say niece.
Niece.
Now say niece, but don't say s.
Knee.
Say drive.
Drive.
Now say drive, but don't say v.
Dry.
Very good. Okay, so she received all of these are correct. So she gets 5 out of 5 off of that. But she did receive one that wasn't automatic. So she's only 4 out of 5 over here. So her total score will be 9 automatic and 10 correct. Okay, then we're going to move down. Level J. Okay, say ran.
Ran.
Now say ran, but instead of say
Run.
Say kit.
Kit.
Now say kit, but instead of say
Cut.
Very good. Say done.
Done.
Now say den, but instead of say
Done.
Say beak.
Beak.
Now say beak, but instead of say a.
Bake.
Say fine.
Fine.
Now say fine, but instead of say o.
Phone.
Very good. So all of those were automatic scores as well. Okay, so we're going to move on to level K. Say bread.
Bread.
Now say bread, but don't say
Bed.
Say sneak.
Sneak.
Now say sneak, but don't say
Seek.
Now K2. Say crew.
Crew.
Now say crew, but instead of say ol.
Clue.
Say scale.
Scale.
Now say scale, but instead of say n.
Snail.
Very good, but that took more than 2 seconds to respond, so she gets a correct response, not an automatic one. Say sneeze.
Sneeze.
Now say sneeze, but instead of say k.
Skis.
Very good. So again, she received 4, or all 5 correct rather, but only 4 automatic. Okay, moving on to level L. Say some.
Some.
Now say some, but instead of say n.
Son.
Okay, if you say some and change the to n, you get sun. All right, so that is an incorrect response, so I'm going to give it a 0 there. Notice how it is automatic feedback. As soon as a student answers or responds incorrectly, you instantly provide feedback for every item. Okay, say rhyme.
Rhyme.
Now say rhyme, but instead of say d.
Ride.
Say night.
Night.
Now say night, but instead of say s.
Nice.
Very good. Say seam.
Seam.
Now say seam, but instead of say t.
See.
So if you say seam and change the to t, you get seat. Again, there's feedback. It's an incorrect response, so I give a 0. Say keep.
Keep.
Now say keep, but instead of p, say z.
Keys.
Very good. Excellent. So in this response, when we're scoring, there's 1, 2, 3 automatic and 3 correct. Okay, moving along to level M. It's the last one. Say ghost.
Ghost.
Now say ghost, but don't say s.
Goat.
Very good. That was more than 2 seconds, so she gets a correct response. Say roast.
Roast.
Now say roast, but don't say s, or instead of s. Sorry. So if the administrator actually mucks up the question, you just start over again. Let's try that again. Say roast.
Roast.
Now say roast, but don't say s.
Wrote.
Very good. Okay. Say sift.
Sift.
Now say sift, but instead of say p.
Sip.
Very good. Or it's actually sipped. If you say sift and change the f to p, you get sipped. Okay. Say trust.
Trust.
Now say trust, but instead of s, say k.
Truck.
Very good. If you say trust and change the s to k, you get trucked. That's an incorrect response, so we give it a 0. Last one, say deft.
Deft.
Now say deft, but instead of f, say k.
Decked.
Very good. But again, that was more than 2 seconds, so it's a correct response. So we give it a 1. So to tally this section, we got 3 correct in total, only 1 automatic. So then when we go back and take a peek, the top one, it is, yep. So the automatic score is 13. And the correct score is 16. Okay. So now it's time to score the assessment. So we're going to head on back up to here, the basic syllable. So it's a correct out of 12 and automatic out of 12. So we're going to put that here. Good job. And then when we scroll down, the onset rhyme levels, it's a 10 and a 10 for both. So we'll adjust those underneath. And then we'll go to the basic phoneme levels. And that is a 10 and a 9. And then the final level, which is your advanced phoneme levels, are a 16 and a 13. Perfect. So then, let's do some quick math. 48 for a score of correct out of 52. And 41 out of 52 automatic. Okay, now it comes over to the highest correct level. So you have to take a really good peek at your assessment. So I need her to score 4 out of 5. That is the highest level that she got correct. So that's going to be K2 right here. So I'm going to go back. We're going to stop our timer. Highest level correct is K2. And then I'm going to go, are there any other levels that she didn't pass from the highest correct level? And there are not. That is her highest correct level, okay? Then it's going to ask for your highest automatic level. So I'm going to put not applicable because that is her highest level. And her highest automatic level, again, a 4 out of 5 is considered a pass. So that is also going to be a K2. And there are no other levels that are below that she didn't achieve automaticity in. So that's going to be an NA as well. So when I am looking at her assessment, the student's assessment level, I would be going to the very next level. So the first level she did not pass, and that's going to be my level L. And then we're going to talk to you a little bit about what that means, how to proceed next, what are some of the activities that are going to move them through the level L through M stage of the assessment. Thanks so much for watching. Hope you found it helpful.